What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is TheUzigunner, bringing you all my week 9 of the World Battle Entertainment, where I'm going to be going up against none other than Aaron aka Cybertron Zhang, who is the coach of the Melbourne Rose. Now, as far as last week goes, we unfortunately came off with a 1-0 loss against our good brother Old Man Tup. There really ain't much to say about it, honestly speaking, because what's done is done and you can't necessarily do much about it. But as far as reality goes, we got our work cut out for us even more than before, because at this point in time, we literally need to win each and every single one of our matches from here on onwards. Again, I don't necessarily have the best record and best differential to begin with, but at the same time, I would say it's definitely not an impossibility from yours truly, and I sure as hell haven't given up trying. So let's see what we can do, alright? Now, before I start, I just want to take this quick moment to wish each and every single one of you a very happy and prosperous Eid. I genuinely hope that you all have a very wonderful day with your friends and family. So, yeah, Eid Mubarak. Now, as far as the matchup goes, you should be able to see that here and now. And just from team preview alone, it is very obvious, I'm not going to say it's as clear as day this time around, that his Kartana and his Mamoswine put in a lot of work against me. Like, these two Pokemon are such massive threats, especially with the latter being a pretty much one-way ticket towards just outright obliterating my team composition. Honestly speaking, I got my whole work cut out for me, and I need to make sure that I play my cards right, you know? So let's see what we can do. Kartana is always a threat to pretty much any single team that comes across it, and when you consider the fact that I do not have a steel type at all, yeah. Oh god, I'm gonna get Vietnamese flashbacks. But yeah, regardless, let me show you all what I got here and now. Starting things off, we got our Raphael, which is my Rockium Z, Adamant, Rhyperior with Earthquake, Swords Dance, Stone Edge, and Substitute. Now, this Pokemon in particular is guaranteed 110% to put in a lot of work against Aaron's team, provided that he follows his, what I expect to be his defensive core of Blissey and Mega Slowbro. Because, yeah, Rock Stab and Ground type stabs are a very good deadly combination to begin with. And while you could definitely argue that Mega Slowbro does actually end up living +2 Adamant Z Continental Crush, what this means is that first of all, he's gonna need to Mega Evolve. And second of all, what this also means is that he will immediately lose access to Regenerator, which is very much a necessity for yours truly, because with the next Pokemon that I'm about to show you in a bit, this is a very handy Pokemon. So overall, I definitely see Rhyperior putting in a lot of work, provided that his Blissey doesn't have moves like, you know, Water Pulse or Grass Knot. And yeah, like, realistically speaking, I just need to time my Swords Dances properly, and if I'm able to do just that, I will be able to set up a substitute and basically scout to see if Cybertron is the type of player that scouts for a Z-move to begin with, provided it goes out in his Mega Slowbro or something. And if I'm behind the substitute and then +2, I'm guaranteed a kill. So yeah, that's pretty much the hypothesis of the basic thinking that surrounds this set to begin with. But yeah. Next up, we got Shinsuke Nakamura, which is my choice Scorpion Chow, I'm sorry for saying it so fancily, with a U-turn, high jump kick, knockoff, and drain punch. Now, this is a one-way ticket to absolute chaos for my opponent, because honestly speaking, other than his Mega Slowbro and his Aromatisse to some extent, he genuinely has no switch into this thing whatsoever, and provided that I'm able to knock out these two particular Pokemon, being his Mega Slowbro and his Aromatisse, if it even comes, that is, what I am able to do is just pretty much spam high jump kick or drain punch throughout the entire match and not have to worry about a damn thing at all. So yeah, like, the only conceivable Pokemon that he may have which would outspeed this thing to begin with would have to be Kartana, which I already have an immediate answer for, so it really is no worry in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, and Reckless is very good here because, you know, the extra damage that I get from kicking something in the face is magnifique. If that's the proper word. I'm sorry, I don't know French. But yeah, overall, I definitely see this thing putting in decent amount of work. Knockoff is there because, you know, in case I want to get rid of any items or something, it would be nice. U-turn is obviously there because momentum. And Drain Punch is very crucial here because this thing pretty much ensures longevity throughout the majority of the match. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Just, this is a basic spread, so yeah, nothing to learn from here, really. Next up, we got Wolf's Art, which is my Rocky Helmet, physically defensive Amoonguss, with Giga Drain, Spore, Hidden Power Fire, and Clear Smog. And this set is pretty self-explanatory in the sense that this is my guaranteed answer to Kartana. Obviously, like, he could be Swords Dance with Steelium Z or any other move to top it up. But honestly speaking, I'm not too worried about that, because provided that he ends up being a Swords Dance set, first of all, I'm gonna get the heck out of here and pretty much let any single one of my Pokemon that I consider to be deadweight losses to take all those hits before coming in again and you know, hopefully resuming to wall Kartana. And at the same time, this is a very crucial Pokemon in the sense that this is pretty much, you know, going to be my way of finding out exactly what type of set his Kartana could possibly be, because A, it could either be Swords Dance, or B, it could be Choice Scarfed, or C, it could be Swords Dance with a speed boosting nature. It could be Swords Dance with a speed boosting nature every time it gets a KO. So the idea is that I will make sure that Amoonguss is around, and provided that it ends up being the set with, you know, a Swords Dance set with you know, speed always rising every time it gets a KO, this is guaranteed to 110% take any single hit from this thing before being able to knock it out with a Hidden Power Fire. So yeah, I need to make sure I keep this thing around no matter what, and overall this is pretty much going to be my way of damage control, both for his Conkeldurr, both for his Kartana, or any of his physical Pokemon, save Mamoswine, because yeah, I don't want to stain on that thing. But yeah, next up we have Hubert, which is my leftovers Spadef Kyurem with Ice Beam, Ruse, Toxic, and Dragon Tail. And this set alone is so crucial against my opponent, because honestly speaking, when you consider the fact that he has a Mega Slowbro, which he could definitely put a lot of work in, I pretty much need a Pokemon that can take any sort of, you know, hits well on the defensive side before being able to retaliate as per the situation called for it. And in that regard, Kyurem does just that and so much more, because I stop whatever setup that his Mega Slowbro could potentially go for with Dragon Tail. Toxic is obviously there to, you know, whittle it down and pretty much reduce its longevity. Same for catching Blissey on the switch, and you know, the usual type of stuff. And yeah, overall, this Pokemon is, provided I play it right, that is, guaranteed to be extremely hard to kill, and I just need to make sure I play my cards right with this thing. Now, for the last two Pokemon, we have Chin Chin, which is my Colbur Yuxi, with Stealth Rock, Psychic, U-Turn, and Grass Knot. And with this investment that you see before you, it pretty much enhances my likelihood of being able to two-shot Mamoswine no matter what the cost, because when you consider my team composition, this is as close of a proper answer to that thing that I can possibly find. And in that regard, Grass Knot is very crucial, because it is a guaranteed 2-hit KO on that Mamoswine of his, and when you consider the fact that he also happens to possess a Mega Slowbro with him, me being able to knock that thing up, me being able to, you know, cut this thing down to size, provided the situation matches up to my liking, is definitely something that I'm going to be thriving for, because yeah, Grass Knot is a guaranteed 3-hit KO on this thing, provided it does not have any sort of special defense investment whatsoever. So yeah, it's very nice. U-Turn is obviously here because momentum, Psychic is here because stab, and I needed another way of hitting Conkeldurr as hard as possible, per se, and Stealth Rock is obviously here because this time around I can afford to run that without, you know, having to become stressed with defogging, because the only conceivable party member that I have that actually doesn't appreciate Stealth Rocks is my Kyurem. So yeah. Now last up we got Primrose, which is my Tapu Fini, rocking the leftovers with Taunt, Nature's Madness, Moonblast, and Defog. And this thing is pretty much going to act as a mixed defensive Pokemon that can take hits on both sides really, and it's pretty much here to act as the ultimate Pokemon to whittle down his defensive core to the point where my Nakamura can come in and pretty much just do whatever it wants, really. So, in that sense, it's pretty self-explanatory. Defog is obviously there in case I need hazards off my side of the field. Taunt is here because, yeah, it stops Pokemon like Blissey, it stops Pokemon like Mega Slowbro, it stops a lot of things. Nature's Madness is there to put things in range, and Moonblast is there because stabs. So, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it for this team. Hope you all enjoyed, and with that being said, let us move on into the game, shall we? Alright guys, we are back right now, and as you can see, This is what my opponent Cybertron VGC brought against me, and just from team preview alone, I am very much surprised to see an Aromatisse on his side of the field because honestly speaking, I felt that Pokemon such as his Miltank or his Blissey would have been much more likely candidates. And at the same time, what this does also mean is that the outcome that I'm hoping to achieve with my Mienshao becomes much more harder because now I have to account for both his Mega Slowbro and this particular Pokemon. Otherwise, it's pretty much what I expected really, and what this does also mean is that my Tapu Fini and my Kyurem are guaranteed to put in a lot of work. I just gotta play my cards right really. Now, as far as leads go, I figured that Mienshao would easily be my best one because honestly speaking, I pretty much scare out the majority of his squad, and at the same time, I expect his lead to be his Rotom H. Yes, I'm saying H because I'm an Australian now. So yeah, with that being said, let's see how this match turns out. I am going to be challenged by Pokemon Trainer Cybertron VGC, as I am just gonna lead off with the King of Strong Style, my totally legitimate shiny Mienshao, as he leads off with his Rotom just like I expected him to, and this is amazing because what this does mean is that I can very well get the needed chip damage off on him to pretty much put him in range of a Adamant Reckless high jump kick the next time he comes in against me, provided it isn't Bold Nature with, 176 EVs in defense or something. So yeah, I'm gonna be able to get the U-turn damage off, which is pretty nice, as I'm gonna go into my designated switching into pretty much all of his special Pokemon, which is my Kyurem. He is going to go straight for the Volt Switch, which is honestly fine by me really because that does just piss poor damage, which kind of shows to me that this thing could either be a bulky variant or a Tri-Scar variant, but definitely not Tri-Specs. So he is going to opt to go straight out into his Conkeldurr, which shows to me that this thing is definitely AV as hell. So, taking that into consideration, I'm pretty much just gonna go out into my Amoonguss because there's no way I'm letting my Uxie take any sort of damage from any of his Pokemon per se because, yeah, I definitely need to account for the Mamoswine of his. So, he's gonna make a good play and go for a knockoff, which is gonna take away my Rocky Helmet, but at the same time, that's perfectly fine by me because what this does mean is that I'm able to put someone to sleep, and that particular someone is that Conkeldurr of his. And this is pretty awesome because what this does mean is that I can potentially set up on this Pokemon. Now, expecting him to pull a hard double out into his Rotom H, I am going to do just that. No, I'm going to pull a hard double of myself into my King of Strong Style, which is my Shinsuke Nakamura, as he is now pretty much in a hot water at this point in time because there really is nothing stopping me from kicking something in the face. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna predict him to get the hell out of here and go for a U-turn of myself, and good God almighty, that does so much damage, which very much shows to me that this thing isn't defensive by any means, but rather an offensive variant, which is pretty awesome because now what this does mean is that I can go out into my Kyurem and pretty much just scout to see exactly what his immediate answer is for this Pokemon per se. So yeah, honestly, I figured that I had nothing to lose by going for a Toxic to begin with. His best answers could have been either his Conkeldurr or his Aromatisse to begin with, so I figured that Toxic would be the best one, as he is going to go out into his Conkeldurr of his, which is honestly fine by me really, because if anything, this just gives me a free switch in into my Uxie, and considering he is asleep, he cannot do anything to me. So yes, at this point in time, I'm just going to pretty much set up my rocks here because I genuinely have no reason not to, as he is going to pull a hard switch out straight into that Aromatisse of his, which is honestly fine by me because with Stealth Rocks on his side of the field, this increases my likelihood of wreaking havoc with my Mienshao and my and my Rhyperior, especially considering how his Slowbro isn't even defensive to begin with, which makes things so much more, better for me, really. So, yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna go out into my Amoonguss, considering the fact that I pretty much take any hit that this thing could potentially go for, as he does reveal the Trick Room, which kind of put me in a massive state of thinking, as he is going to pop off the Nasty Plot here and now, which would be worrisome in most occasions, but considering I have the Clear Smog with me, I'm going to go for just that right now and effectively put a stop to this thing's setup and be able to get some decent chip damage off on this thing too while I'm at it. So yeah, not wanting to take a Psychic to the dome, especially considering the fact that this is my main Kartana response, I'm going to pull a hard switch out straight into my Tapu Fini, expecting him to go for a Psychic if provided that he does have that move to begin with, which I expect him to have to begin with, because otherwise he wouldn't have set up on this Pokemon. So yeah, he is going to go straight for a Psychic of his. Unfortunately, he's going to be also able to snag a crit on me, which is honestly fine, really, because there really is nothing stopping me from just going for a Moonblast here now, as he is going to attempt to go straight for a Nasty Claw, not even care exactly what's gonna happen, really, as yeah, I'm just gonna go, the Moonblast is gonna go off, and I'm gonna be able to get a very lucky special attack drop on this thing, which is honestly exactly what I needed at this point in time, because yeah, like, this thing is very obnoxious against me, and provided that I don't want this thing to, you know, pretty much set me up for the rest of his offensive Pokemon wreaking havoc upon me, I am just going to go straight out into my Amoonguss, expecting him to go for a Moonblast, as he does end up doing just that, and this is amazing, because now I effectively have put a stop to this thing's potential setup. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go for a Clear Smog here right now, thinking it will knock him out, but unfortunately, I'm not able to achieve such an outcome, as unfortunately, he is going to reveal his Wiki Berry, which puts him back to a very good amount of HP, and at the same time, it allows him to set up a Trick Room on my face, which is pretty bad, considering the fact that now I'm pretty much back at square one again. So yes, again, not wanting my Amoonguss to take any sort of hit whatsoever, considering the role it has, I'm going to go straight out into my Tapu Fini, as he does choose to go straight for a Psychic, which, you know what, is going to do absolutely piss poor damage, because, yeah, my Tapu Fini does have a good amount of Spidef investment, so at this point in time, I pretty much have no choice but to go straight for a Moonblast. Like, yeah, I did. I pretty much just put myself in this position, and this is my only way out, really. And honestly speaking, this is fine, because I actually ended up doing my calcs, and now that I know what said his Aromatisse does happen to be, I know for a fact that he isn't a Z, Farium Z or anything, or any sort of variant, which means that I'm going to be able to take a +2 Moonblast just fine, and be able to retaliate with a Moonblast of my own, and be able to effectively knock this thing out. So yeah, I'm going to be able to do just that, and get a crit too for good measure, as just like that, we take out one of the biggest threats to my side of the field, which I definitely did not expect going into this match. So yeah, at this point in time, he is going to opt to go straight out into his Mega Slowbro, and here is where I kind of make a big misplay, or rather, just a misplay in the sense that I unfortunately did not account for the fact that there was still one more turn of Trick Room remaining, because otherwise I would have gone out into my Kyurem, as I'm just gonna go for a taunt thinking I would outspeed this thing, but no, he is gonna outslow me in Trick Room and be able to knock me out courtesy of a Psychic, which is kind of unfortunate, because now, yeah, I just lost the Pokemon for no reason. But you know what, that's fine, really. Now, here I'm pretty much just gonna go out into my Kyurem, and expecting him to not want to stay in, I am pretty much just gonna go straight for a Dragon Tail, really. Like, I genuinely have no reason to not go for this move to begin with, especially considering the fact that his Aromatisse has already been in the dust. So, yeah, Dragon Tail is gonna come off. I'm going to be able to get some form of damage on that Conkeldurr of his, which is pretty nice, I guess you could say. As, yeah, I am now... I mean, out comes his Kartana, and it is at this point in time that I choose to hard switch out straight into my Amoonguss, because this is my main response to this thing, and I want to see what kind of set he could potentially be. So yeah, he pulls a hard switch out into his Mamoswine, and this is kind of unfortunate for me, because yeah, I have no place here. I need to get my, I'm not going to say that word, out of here. As, yeah, I'm going to go straight into my main switch in, which would have to be my Yuxi, as he is going to opt to set up rocks on my side of the field, which does put a decent amount of pressure on me, which kind of sucks. Now, I have Grass Knot for this exact reason. Like, it is a guaranteed 2-hit KO on him, so I'm just going to go straight for that right now. And instead of going out into any of his other Pokemon, he goes straight out into his Mega Slowbro, and this is amazing on so many levels, because after this chip damage that you see before you, the next one is guaranteed 110% to knock this thing out. So I'm just going to go for that here and now, and just like that, we are able to take out the only remaining Pokemon of his that could actually take on my Mienshao. And what this does also mean, with his Rotom H, yes, coming in on another round of Stealth Rocks, is that High Jump Kick is now guaranteed 110% to knock this thing out. So yeah, I'm honestly chilling at this point, as I'm going to go into my main switch in, which would have to be my Kyurem, and considering the fact that he definitely isn't Tri-Specs by any means, I am very much not going to die to, like, 2 overheats of his. So, yeah, he is just gonna go for an overheat of his. I'm going to be able to take that just fine. And seeing that there really is no reason for me to not go for a roost, I'm honestly just gonna do that here and now. So, yeah, he is going to opt to go hard out into his Conkeldurr, and honestly speaking, this is fine by me because, yeah, first of all, I'm able to get myself back up to a decent amount of HP courtesy of Roost. And considering the fact that he only wasted 1 turn of sleep, there really is no reason for me to switch out, but instead just go for a Dragon Tail, because if I'm able to get out any other Pokemon that I have a decent matchup against, it's going to only put more pressure on him. No pun intended. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go for a Dragon Tail of my own, and pretty much just put Conkeldurr near its deathbed, and he is going to go hard out, get dragged out into his Kartana, and Kartana is going to end up coming out, and it is at this point that I did my calcs, and I ended up finding out that I live any single hit that he could potentially go for. So, honestly speaking, I'm just gonna stay in. If he reveals any other move, Amoonguss is guaranteed to wall this thing, and you are going to see that he instead brought Shattered Psych against me, which would be a bit worrisome in theory, but considering the fact that I did not switch out, I'm going to be able to take that just fine and be able to retaliate with an Ice Beam of my own, and just like that, be able to take out another massive threat on my side. And this is honestly phenomenal, because it is at this point that the game is pretty much over with my Mienshao. And the only conceivable Pokemon that he could stop this outcome with would have to be, priority Ice Shard into Mach Punch with his Conkeldurr, which I'm definitely not going to allow him to do. So, it is at this point that I pretty much sack on my Kyurem, trying to see what kind of set he could potentially be, but no! Hard Body Kyurem is still going to be able to take a freaking Earthquake from a Mamoswine before slapping that thing with its tail, and just like that, we are in such a phenomenal position because, yeah, like, I don't need to sack this thing off for no reason, and with his Conkeldurr coming out, I have no reason whatsoever to not go out into my Uxie, because the probability of him going for a Mach Punch is pretty high. So, expecting him to do that, I'm going to hard swap out into that, as he does end up going for a Mach Punch, and that is going to do absolutely piss poor damage, and justifiably so. So, yeah, Chinchin is going to go straight for a Psychic of his, which will definitely be able to knock out that Conkeldurr of his, and it is at this point that this game is pretty much over, because, yeah, like, his only last 2 Pokemon would have to be his Rotom H and his Mamoswine, which I very much have all the answers in the world to. So, it is at this point that I'm going to go out in my Rhyperior. I did my calcs, I take an Overheat, and any other move he wants to go for, even an HP Grass after, and pretty much, like, just aim to... And it is at this point that I pretty much just choose to go straight for a Z move of my own, really, because, yeah, otherwise I'm not gonna get a chance anyways. So, yeah. I'm just gonna pop my Z move here, and now as he does end up going for an Overheat of his, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to achieve such an outcome because he snags a crit on my Rhyperior, which does kind of suck in the grand scheme of things, and I'll say why as this video ends. But regardless, I'm going to now just go straight out into the King of Strong Style, and it is at this point that this game is pretty much over because I have no reason to not go for a Drain Punch, and yeah, I'm just gonna go for that here and now. It will definitely knock out that Rotom Heat of his. I'm not gonna say that word anymore, sorry about that. I mean that letter anymore. As his only Pokemon remaining would have to be that Mamoswine of his. And yeah, you already know, there is no move that he could go for that would be able to knock me out. Even an Ice Shard crit will definitely not be able to achieve such an outcome. As, yeah, I'm gonna go for one final Drain Punch, and with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is a 4-0 victory for the Bullet Punch Club. So yeah, first things first, GG to my boy Cybertron Zeng. This was definitely a close match through and through, and I say that because had I not timed my Clear Smogs properly against that Aromatisse of his, a very different outcome could have resulted from this. At the same time though, I kinda wish that my Rhyperior didn't end up getting crit, as considering my differential, I need as much convincing wins I can possibly get. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with how this match went, especially considering everything that happened last week. And with this match, the BPC is now officially 3-6 right now with a -9 differential. Oh boy. So yeah, if anything, it just keeps getting steeper from here. But you know what? I'll keep fighting. But you know what? I'll keep fighting, and who knows, maybe I can make the impossible a reality. Either way, thank you all so much for the endless support that you've all shown me throughout these 4 weeks here so far. It is beyond a privilege to compete here and potentially entertain you all, and hopefully I am able to continue doing just that. With that being said, my name is TheUzigunner. Thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a glorious day, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Eid Mubarak.